Hello and welcome to A Conversation with Caleb and Kayla. Now you've all seen me before, so you're probably tired of that, but I want to draw our attention to the playwright sitting next to me. Can you introduce yourself for those of you who don't know?
Hi, I'm Kaela Mei-Shing Garvin. I'm the second year MFA playwright here at Indiana University.
And we are here to talk about her fabulous new work, House of Mirth. I had the pleasure of seeing the reading of House of Mirth, and can I just say, first of all, it's a fantastic play. But for those of people who don't know, can you give us just a brief overview of the plot and maybe some themes that the play tackles?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Caleb. I think the play House of Mirth is based on Edith Wharton's novel, The House of Mirth. In the original novel, it's set in 1905 New York high society. We follow Lily Bart, the main character, who is sort of very socially privileged but doesn't have a lot of money, and so has sort of grown up in this upper echelon of New York society. Yeah. And so I've reset the play to be sort of in a dystopian future in which women have taken over the country, and in particular white women have taken over the country and made sort of restructured society, but in a lot of ways it looks pretty similar to what we see now, except that there's no men anywhere.
Ooh. I'll just leave, thank you. No, that sounds awesome. Now,
but obviously, like, I changed the race of half of the characters in the play, or not half, a third, because what I related to with Lily Bart was her code switching and was her maneuvering many different worlds at once and having to be different people in different circles. And that was something that I really related to as a mixed person who often has to do that in my own life. That was really something that I keyed into that was significant to me about the character, is that she has to successfully in the original convince everyone she's rich, but also sort of like succeed according to the ideals of people that she doesn't necessarily agree with or even like that much, but that's the recipe for success, is emulating what they're doing. And so I just sort of saw a lot of parallels with my life, and particularly in like professional situations in academia. You're really you're really more successful if you assimilate to being white and if you assimilate to the dominant culture, and that's and that's something I really struggle with, and so I wanted to dramatize that in the play. While
we're on the subject of race and femininity, you have created a play that has an entire female cast and that has predominantly persons of color in it. What does it mean to you as an artist in the theater to be making that happen and to see stories like that exist in theater today?
I mean, I honestly don't really know how to do anything else, because I exist on those axes of being a woman and being a woman of color. So for me, that is the story. You know, I don't necessarily know what it would be like to live outside that experience. But I tried for a long time to write things that were more traditional in terms of casting, but for this play in particular, I felt like the dramaturgy actually works better if everyone's a woman, and also to me it just means that I originally got into playwriting because there weren't roles for me as an actor, and so I wanted to create roles for people like myself, which was initially selfish, but also, if you think about it, not that selfish. It exists on the axis
because if there's a role for you, there's going to be a role for somebody else.
Yeah.
What has been, now that you're in the room with the director and the actors, what has been the most fun part about being in the room and working on the play with that, and what has been the most frustrating part about finally having an actor and a director and having to see this through fruition? Oh,
cool. The most fun part, I think, is definitely just the experience of being in the room. I'm a total, can I swear? I'm a total theater nerd. I love rehearsal. I live for rehearsal. I feel like rehearsal is my social time, which is maybe not healthy, but also, it's also a time to work. I'm a very hard worker, and so for me, being able to be in a rehearsal room is the greatest treat in the world, especially we have such an amazing team. We have amazing actors, an amazing creative team and directorial team and everything, so it's really just a joy to be in the room at all. Awesome. And it's also really instructive for me, because when I'm in the room, I can be myself by myself and like tinker with the script as much as I want, but it's closer to the experience, you know, to be able to hear your words aloud and see how actors move in this space, being informed by the language. So that's been both informative and just like fun.
Yeah. Now this play, when I saw it read, it had an impact on me. And this is a kind of play that makes a statement, bold and simply. It just goes for it. And it will hopefully, knock on wood, have an impact on the audience that comes to see it. Going forward in your artistic and playwriting career, what kind of statements do you want to make?
In terms of statements I want to make, like, oh my God, I have so much to say. But I think that, like, it's important to me to put work out there that is challenging, both for the audience and for the people working on it. I feel like things that are complicated are great. I also feel sort of like compelled to tell the stories of women and of people of color, and to tell stories that like I wish that I had growing up. That's a big part of House of Mirth for me, is that like I could have really used this if I saw it.
That's awesome.
So just try, like, with an eye towards like the youths, and trying to like create a world that's like, if we are trying to dissect what's wrong with the world, also like creating theatrical experiences that are not super painful to go through is something that I want to do. You know, like I feel like it's one thing to say like there's something wrong with this, let's all experience it so that we can see what's wrong with it. And for me, that's sometimes effective, and I think is part of what House of Mirth is doing, but it's also trying to, I think and I hope, like do it in a way that is not going to be super painful for people who have gone through those things. That is going to be something that people with trauma can like laugh along with, as opposed to suffer through, you know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We have time for one more question, and this is, we've been talking a lot about your writing, we've been talking a lot about you as a playwright, but when you're not writing, what is your favorite thing to do?
Oh, I love to cook. And I love to watch TV. I watch a lot of TV, and I love to read.
I wish I had more time to read.
Oh my God, me too.
What's your favorite show?
Oh my gosh. Well, right now the one that has been most recently too dramatic for me is RuPaul's All Stars. I'm at a loss for words this season.
Please come see House of Mirth. They open February 27th and run the 28th, and then again March 1st and March 2nd. This has been a conversation with Caleb and Kaela. Thank you again for joining me.
Thank you for having me.